Ritucharya. Ritu means season. Charya means the regimen. So what is the seasonal regimen? And also Ritu means not only the season, the time. So time for the fulfillment, time for the fertility, and time for the evolution, time for the treatment, time for the development, and time for the correction of the Agni. So all these things comes under this Ritucharya. So the Ritus what are said, it differs in the all over the world, because at some place it is some Ritu and at some place it is some Ritu. So the timing might differ, but the simple thing is, if we take Vata, Pitta and Kapha. So if it is the winter, Vata is more, and if it is rainy season, Kapha is more. At the same time, if it is summer, the Pitta is more. So counteraction to that has to be done. Like in the winter, how we wear the winter clothing to protect from the cold, to protect from the Vata. Similarly, in the summer, already it is hot, so we don't eat anything which increases the heat, or the spicy food we don't take. We want to take something cooling and reducing the pitta. And in the rainy season, because it is already the liquefaction time of all the doshas, so the kapha is a little more. So either we need to, if it is too much, we need to take out the dosha, or we need to suppress it and reduce it. So this is the main theory in the Ritucharya. And if we take in general, in the day and night, it follows, the first day starts with the coolness. Because when you are early in the morning, it is cold. So gradually it is making up hot, and then in the afternoon it is, mid-noon it is hot, and then again it will be reducing, and again it is going to cool. So similarly, in the age also, when we are very young children, more kapha, so gradually growing, and during the mid-age, pitta. So at that time, during the kapha period, during the growing, all the diseases related to the kapha will come, and all the things related to kapha happens. Similarly, during the pitta age, the diseases related to pitta, metabolism, hormones, and some expansions, or something like the thyroid disorders, or the diabetic disorders, or something related to the circulation, and all these things comes under during the pitta period. Whereas in the vata period, at the end, the things related to the degeneration, dryness, reduction, or something more related with the vata. So these things will happen. So whatever we do, the counteracting these things will improve the longevity and improves the health. And one more thing, for the good progeny, there are said 4 main factors: Rutu, Kshetra, Ambu, and Bija. So among this, the first thing is the Rutu. Rutu means the proper season, the proper time. The time is much more important for anything, for the treatment, for the conception, for the food, for the energy, and all these things. That is what is Rutu. So the importance of Rutu is this thing. And basically, if we know these things, we can easily work it out. So the time, if we see, basically it is year, 1 year. So 1 year is divided into 12 months. So these 12 months, if we make it half, 6 and 6. The 6 months where the sun moves towards north is called Uttarayana, where the sun's movement is towards north, and which is also called Adana Kala. Adana means sun is gaining energy. So when sun is gaining energy means moon is losing energy. And at the same time, when sun is gaining energy means all the opposite, like the human beings and the plants and all those things are a little gradually by losing the energy. And after that, the Dakshinayana is the sun is moving towards the south, where gradually sun will be losing the energy and the moon will be gaining the energy. At the same time, all the plants, human beings, and the living beings all will gain the energy. But the Agni, which is controlled by the sun, so which is usually more in the Uttarayana. So that time the digestive power is more. But if we see, Uttarayana starts from the cold weather, Shishira Rutu. And the Dakshinayana ends with the cold weather. So both the end of the Dakshinayana and starting of the Uttarayana are the cold weathers. During that time, good energy will be there and the Agni will be strong because of the cold weather from outside. So that is why during the winters, the hunger will be more because the night is less and the daytime is more. So each 2 months are unitedly said as one Rutu, one season. So when the seasons are changing, there will be a little change in the atmosphere. So according to that, the food changes and all those things has to be done.
So between that interlock period, that is called Ritu Sandhi.
Like how when the sun is rising at that time, how we do the Sandhya, and at the evening when sun is going down, how we do the Sandhya. That is the good time for the meditations actually, because that is the Sandhi period. During that Sandhi period, the changes will happen in the atmosphere as well as in the body. So to overcome that, we do meditations. So similarly, when the seasons are changing, at that time also, a little lesser food and more spiritual things or some, because every season has some days they kept for to reduce the food and do some rituals. But among that, if we see, for every Ritu, there will be some this thing, some gap. Instead of that, Uttarayana and Dakshinayana, when there is a big change happens in the cold and winter. So at that time, we do the big Navaratris. So during that Navaratris, that is why we reduce the food and we indulge into more spiritual activities and rituals and all. And also, a specific food is mentioned during those festivals and during those things, during those times. So all these things mainly said in the Ritucharya.
And with the Ritucharya, proper seasonal regimen, we can overcome the diseases which happen during that Ritu. So our acharyas, our gurus have given us the regimen. What is your diet? What is your all the 6 seasonal charyas? Dinacharya is daily routine. Ritucharya is seasonal routine. Among the seasonal routine, the 6 ritus. So all these 6 seasons are given their charyas. So Shishira Ritucharya, do's and don'ts of Shishira Ritu, what to eat, what not to eat, what activities to be done, what activities to not to do. All these things are explained so clearly by our acharyas. And among them are some of the festivals which come where we follow some dietary regimen. So if one keeps their attention on these food habits and this daily routine during their Ritucharya, they can prevent many diseases. And one should always eat those seasonal fruits. That's why we always say, eat your seasonal fruits, because Ritu means in that Ritu, you are getting that seed growing into flower and fruit. So that seasonal fruit has so much of energy. So every season has that kind of energy from the ground. So you have to eat seasonal fruits, even if it is a little heavy or anything, vata or anything, it will balance it. And eating not so much, but at least once. Even during the Navaratris, we eat different varieties of foods, and we do so many preparations to adjust our appetite and balance our appetite. So, depending on cultural thing and atmospheric thing, people have made it regionally different kinds of foods. In a cold region, they prepare the things which are hot, and in the hot regions, they prepare according to their climate. Like that, all these food preparations are also made.
In general, we can do like for the cold season, for the hot season, and for the rainy.
If you are taking Kashmir in India, it's almost like Fairfield when it comes to winter and such thing. It is ice cold.
Ritucharya,
The
one of the important thing is the Sandhi. During the Sandhi period, less food and more spiritual activity and more towards the means. Everything depends on the Agni only. So to correct the Agni is the treatment. So less food and a little lesser activity and all those things. And in this Hemanta Rutu, Sharad Rutu, means during this Navaratri time, especially the water which is there in the rivers and ponds and all, which is like a good nectar. Because during this time there is one Agastya Nakshatra is there, so it comes. So with that,
On
the water is purified very much.
with
So
the
that,
rays of that nakshatra,
yeah,
Agastya nakshatra.
so that water need to be taken, especially during this season, during the Sharad Rutu. Because during the hot season, sun is gaining the energy, means sun is draining from all, not only the human beings, even the plants and all. So he is draining.
It's
He's
draining.
taking
It's
it-
draining because it's drying. It's heating, and when you heat something,
Yeah.
it dries out. That's why it's draining.
So
So it is not only that, the transformation inside you, the transformation inside the universe, and the transformation inside the plants and all the living beings. Then after that, if we see the cool, then it changes into the cool, then the transformation is completely different. So at that time, in between that, the adjustment towards those seasons, that is a little difficult. So during that time, you need to follow few rules like light food and light regimen, and everything you are doing moderately, then you can easily adjust into that. If we are exactly in the season, exactly in the nature, exactly in the forest, so those things we can follow. But the main thing is what happening according to that, that we need to do. And the food, proper digestion, and freshly cooked warm food, that is the main thing, and light food. And if we see the seasons in a daytime, day and night, so according to that, from the morning to night, if we follow that regimen, that is the seasonal routine, we can say. Whatever the season and whatever the cold, whatever the hot, the body will adjust according to that, body will fight against it. Body will create that thing. So, but if the very cold weather is damaging you, avoid that thing. The very hot weather is damaging you, avoid that thing. That is what is said in the Ritucharya, in the seasonal routine. During the summers, usually they say to have more with the rose water and sandalwood paste and so many all those things. But if you are avoiding that and changing into some other place where it is a little cooler, not too cooler, so according to that, you need to take your food and all those things. And at the same time, if it is very cold, if you are avoiding that thing, the very cold, because so many things get, means due to that cold, the dryness, a lot will happen. We see the dryness only on the skin. We are not seeing the dryness, what happens in the neurofibers, what happens in the nervous system. Actually, the brain, if we see, it is a lotus. a lotus with all its roots to the spine. So from there, if the like the a lotus is kept outside in the very cold weather, how it dries up all the things. Similarly, if we are not protecting our head properly, definitely it will dry up. Definitely it will create the issue in the nervous system. Definitely you will develop some neuropathy in the body if you are not applying the oil, if you are not doing the abhyanga. The compensation for the dryness is oil, abhyanga.
It's a protection. It's a protecting layer which you are creating to protect you from different weathers.
So if you are moving, even if you see the birds, they move from one place to other place according to the season. Too much extreme things are not good. So according to that, you need to protect
Beautiful
yourself.
answer. So another question is about the Agastya star, about what is that? How to explain what that is and how a star can have so much influence.
It's actually 15 days to 1 month, actually, not 60 days during that Agastya period. So that water is good during that time because already the rainy season brings all the water from everywhere and which is settling down and also properly heated through the sun and cooled with the moon and Agastya star. And that water is called Hamsodaka. Hamsa is the swan.
Swan.
Swan. So swan, how separates milk and water, similarly, means swan is shown for the purity, symbolism for the purity. So the water is more pure at that time. Water, if we use for growing the grains also, that energy transforms.
Well, since we have a general understanding of Ritucharya now, a better understanding, we'll comment more about seasonal things when we're giving other knowledge, like
Yes.
like food and everything, so that you can fit it into your understanding, because it's in the same way that the Rajus don't say pacify your vata all the time. Don't eat to your prakriti, because it's what you are from day to day that you have to respond to. Same thing with the seasons. So it's really self-referral. Everything about health is self-referral. And that's a wonderful thing.
Jai Gurudev, Jai Gurudev.
Jai
Jai
Gurudev.
Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.